Good morning, Super. Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning.
So, how are you doing today?
Good. It's Wednesday.
I guess we just had an issue with this morning with coordinating a FDNY inspection at the building, and we had a team member that was supposed to be there, and unfortunately he couldn't make it. And if there's no one there, it's an automatic failure.
Mm-hmm.
So I think one of the toughest things about a part-time super is having to be available to schedule those things into your day, especially when you have so many other things to do aside from that part-time building.
Right.
And then you have to get there, you have to wait, get prepared to wait there. FDNY, usually they're on time, but they're late today, about half an hour. So they're supposed to be there at 9:30, and then they're there at, almost 10:30. So
Yeah, it happens.
those are the things that part-time supers have to be prepared for. And then we talked about before how you may have to be clear with the building owner about how you're going to deal with those situations, whether you're going to charge for that, whether you're going to, absorb the cost of that. I usually think you shouldn't absorb the cost. There should be some sort of compensation for you to be there. But anyway, so today's topic, I was thinking, I had some questions about, how is it like? How is the actual interview like? What questions do they ask us? What the customer, whether it's a building manager or a building owner, board member, they say, if I'm at, how do I conduct this interview? Like, what can I expect? What are the questions that they're going to ask me? So I thought I'd do a really quick episode about some of the things that you should be facing, some of the questions that you should expect to answer. How to ace this interview really depends upon how well you prepare. If you can prepare in advance the answers to all these questions, that'd be great. I know, actually, those times that I didn't get the building, I interviewed with a board member, or usually a board member, because they ask the tougher questions. And I know those questions that stumped me, and I couldn't answer it, and I didn't get the building ultimately. It may not be that question that caused it, but I have a feeling that not being able to answer those questions, even now, I think I should have answered that question better. So let's say, Jennifer, if you're, you have a 10 o'clock meeting with a board member, board president at a building, what's your thoughts? What's your expectations?
First of all, I would think what I'm gonna wear.
That's perfect. Yes.
I know, it's like, oh my God, what should I wear? I should go shopping. No, it's like I want to look proper. I want to look professional.
True.
But I don't want to, I'm not gonna wear a tux or evening gown. Like a clean shirt, I guess, or maybe jacket is too much, but something that's business casual. I don't want to wear my work clothes, but just.
Yeah, that's true. I know that some people may wear anything, and they sometimes wear their clothes that they wear to work that are stained.
Are you going to the gym?
Or they wear, get up for the gym.
Yeah, I mean, I understand that, people are busy, but if you have a meeting, I would say, it's not bad to look nice.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing, it won't take away points.
Yeah.
If anything, I think it'll add a couple points to you. It shows that you're serious about the position. Because most behind what a board member is thinking, they're thinking, look, they know it's a part-time gig where the guy is going to be at my building a few times a week. Is he going to take it seriously?
Right.
Is he going to be consistent? Is he going to be reliable? Is he going to be a guy that is on our side if we need him? And if you show up not looking like you took care about how you look or you prepare, he's going to think that, is this person that person? And so the easiest way to convey that, we all have eyes. Unfortunately, I shouldn't say we all have eyes. I'm sorry.
Fortunately, we have eyes.
Unfortunately, those that can see, we're interviewing people who have eyes that will judge you.
Yeah, first impressions are really important.
I was going to say, unfortunate situations when people don't have eyes. But I
That's
know
bad.
that's bad. So, but most likely the person that is going to interview you will have eyes, will have prejudices
Yeah.
about who you are, how you look, how you're talking, how you're acting, and you're already going to be at a disadvantage if he's thinking negatively about.
Yeah, and because like the board is not going to be able to see how you take care of the garbage, how you troubleshoot.
Right.
So that like you as an image, that's gonna convey how you're gonna do in the actual workplace.
Exactly. It's going to reflect how diligently you're going to be, how diligently you're going to be working to keep up a quality or a standard at the building.
Right. So just wear business casual. No,
Yeah,
just
I mean,
a shirt. I'm
clean.
not a t-shirt.
Not a t-shirt.
Yeah, not a t-shirt, but just a shirt, basic shirt. I think jeans would be okay, I
Yeah,
guess.
jeans are okay. I think
Yeah. But not like all torn off. You have like 5
Holes.
different colors of paint on that jeans. I mean, yeah, fashion. We all love fashion, but just being proper. Like something that you would wear to a church.
right. Yeah, that's good. That's a good way to put it. Something that you can wear to church. I would say some people could say that that's a tie and stuff, but no tie. I think just business casual,
Yeah.
polo shirt, a
polo
sweater,
shirt, yeah.
but clean. Wear a watch.
Yeah.
Shows that you're thinking about time.
Oh, that's nice, but not like huge golden watch or
No.
like.
Yeah, not any bling.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just kidding. I mean, look,
Things are
you're
nice, but
yeah, jewelry's fine, but just you. The only thing is this:
keep it simple.
keep it simple, and what you want to convey is trustworthiness and reliability.
Mm-hmm.
You want to be seen as reliable,
Mm-hmm.
and society has this idea of what reliable is. Even if you're a person that wears, flip-flops every day, and you're super reliable, people will still see that person and think differently. And that's
Yeah.
unfortunately how society is. So you gotta play the, how do you say? You gotta
Play along with it.
play along with it,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
And second,
Second is, speak clearly, speak slow, no joking. Try not to joke or banter, because jokes and banter can go really, really off the wrong path. Sometimes try to speak in proper terms. Like, don't say man, hey man, thanks,
dude.
yeah, dude. But I hear people say man. Okay, you got it, man. Or they're very casual. Yeah, you got it, brother, or something like that. And I always think he's your customer. Consider him a customer. The customers do not want to feel that. A lot of customers, when they're paying money, they don't want to feel like they're on the same level as you. They want to feel that you're going to be servicing them and that you're going to be treating your job with respect. So find out their name, and better call them by their name,
Sir.
or sir, or Mr., or something like that.
Yeah. Especially when you're meeting this person for the first time.
Oh yeah, but I would say, let it. That should keep throughout your
Yeah.
working career with them.
Yeah, that's being professional.
Yeah, and the moment that you start treating them like you do your friends, and they start treating you like a friend,
Oh yeah, that's
you're gonna encounter a whole set of problems
Right.
that come with not being professional, and expectations are gonna get all mixed up. And
right.
we have a great super that we're working with that's leaving, that is considering leaving the building because he's gotten too friendly
Right.
with the residents in the building, and they treat him like a friend, and he's saying, because they treat me like a friend, they abuse me. They call me on the
Yeah.
weekends, they wake me up for small stuff, and he needs his rest, and he feels like he's being pulled in all different directions. So the first step to protecting your value, protecting your profession, remember that you're a professional, so you're protecting your profession by being professional. And by
Yes.
talking and calling sir and ma'am and all that stuff. So talking, first how you dress, second how you talk, and the third, once you get that done, it becomes a little tricky, because whoever's interviewing you, and I'm picking a board member because board members are the toughest to interview with. They come from all different angles. They'll ask you questions from all over the place, and you just have to be able to know that what they're looking for in asking these questions is whether they're trying to figure out whether you're going to be reliable, you're going to be honest.
Right.
That's actually number one. They're looking to
Honesty.
see if you're going to be honest. They're looking to see whether you're going to be reliable. They're looking to see whether you're going to be, like what your price is. They're going to be looking for how your attitude is, like
Yep.
whether they can work with you. Remember, a lot of interviews are just whether they're just checking you out to see whether you fit what they're looking for, number one, and whether they can work with you.
Yeah.
They can.
That
yeah?
has a lot to do with your personality and character.
Yes, yes,
What kind of person are you?
right. What kind of person are you, and whether he's easy to work with,
Right.
or whether he's going to be hard to work with. Because you can be an ace in the field, you can be an ace in the industry, but if you're difficult to work with, and he picks up that he can't work with you, you just lost that job.
Yeah, but I would say, like, don't feel discouraged even if you get a job, even if you think you aced an interview, because this is, we're talking about personalities here, and those people just might not think you're just not a match for them.
That's true. There could be. You're saying that there could be other reasons that.
Yeah,
You're
not
not
because
chosen.
you're not a good super, you're a bad super.
Oh yeah.
No, it's just
yeah, that's a good point.
personality wise, you just, they don't see them getting along with you,
Right.
or they're looking for a specific personality.
That's true.
Yeah, because they're all people. So
Right.
I would say, even if that happens, don't be too discouraged.
Yeah. Most likely. So in other words, it may be something that you just can't either figure out or you can't change.
Yeah.
I always say that there's a rule of thumb that goes by. If you're in a room, there's going to be 5% of that room that dislike you for some reason.
Yeah.
You don't know what it is. You've done nothing wrong. You may even be nice to them, but they just don't like you for some reason.
Yeah.
And I think it might be just something that's in nature.
Yeah.
Something that's just, you can't explain, and sometimes you're so confused because you're like, I haven't done anything wrong to him,
Right.
and he just gives me a dirty look all the
Yeah.
time. and he's mean to me or something. So don't worry about those things, right?
Yeah. Don't.
I think the only way to kind of go ahead and to beat this game, because it really is a game. Interviews are a game. You got to think of it as, you know, if you are reliable, if you are honest, if you have all the great things that you should have professionally, interviewing is a game. So what are the things that they'll ask you to find? And remember, they're trying to figure out, the top three things that they're trying to figure out is whether you're honest, whether you are reliable, you'll be able to take care of the things that they're asking for, and they're going to be figuring out how expensive you're going to be, or what your cost is going to be.
Well, sometimes I think honesty is number one. Maybe number two or three can be flipped, depending on the board.
Okay.
It could be money and then reliability, because
Like,
some people might be just looking for a very a cheap service.
yeah.
Like I just want cheap, you know.
Well,
I
you know
want
what?
the sale.
That's interesting. That's very interesting. I mean, because you're bringing up something that I think we'll never really understand, and even the people who interview us won't really understand. But do you think that the first thing that they're thinking about is price?
I would say I think so, because it's just numbers and it's easier to figure out. That's the first thing that comes to their minds, because in a way they are purchasing the service, and I kind of want to look at the price for it. I think a lot of people look at the price first,
Right.
and then compare.
Cost may seem like the first thing that they look at. I think in my experiences, getting a cheaper service may not be the top of the list a lot. Maybe it may be a board member, one of the board members may consider price to be like a top thing. But I think if you don't have the rest of the things that they're looking for, actually, you know what, you're right. I think buildings do think maybe cost. There's some buildings where the board may consider price to be the top, but what ends up happening is that they end up getting finding someone who fits that price range, that cost range for them, but may not be reliable or honest, and then they're unhappy. So I think you might meet a building where cost is number one, and they may say, we're looking for someone to do it for this price, and that's it. And it may be too low for you, and someone else may take it. But don't worry about those buildings. I think you should still stick with your price, or the standards that you set for yourself, your financial goals. You should set them, and stick with them.
Or you can negotiate. You can give them some options about the price.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
If you're looking for a cheaper price, then I'm gonna have to take this out. I can't do emergencies. I'll just do daily cleaning or something like that.
Right.
You can be creative, but don't try to force yourself into those numbers, because it might be okay in the first few weeks, but after that you're gonna get tired, and building is gonna be complaining to you all the time.
Right. The other thing that they'll be looking for in your interview is whether you have technical experience, like technical knowledge, that sort of experience. But it's not the top. It's not the top for part-time buildings. So for part-time buildings, they're more looking for attitude, a good attitude, honesty, reliability. Those are the things. So if let's say you're just getting into the game and you're learning, you're getting into the industry and you want to learn, you want to learn more. If you can have, a basic understanding of a building, and you show a drive, and you show a clear interest and a great attitude, you have a great shot getting that building.
So when you hear those questions, though, don't say you know things even if you don't.
Right.
Don't say they ask you about gas leak or something, and maybe you've seen it on YouTube videos, or you've read about it, you've heard people fix it.
Right.
Don't say you know it. Like, if you don't know how to do it, just say, I don't. But I can learn or something.
Right.
That's over-promising, and over-promising gives you a lot of expectations, and when that really happens and you don't know what to do, then you're in trouble.
Right. Okay, so you were saying that definitely saying I know, and then also saying something that you're not sure about is a surefire way to make yourself look unprofessional.
Yeah.
So
just if you don't know the answer, just say you don't know. I'm not sure.
Right. Can I say an incident that happened to me?
Yeah.
So when I was interviewing for a building, all the way back when I was first starting, there was a question about when you turn off a building's water supply and you turn it back on, you turn it off and then you turn it back on, you have to be careful about the flushometers, because some of those flushometers, as the water rushes through the pipes and into the flushometer, they could throw the inside components off, and it keeps on flushing. And I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. So when someone mentioned, oh, you got to watch out, do you have to care about the flushometers? In my experience, I never had to deal with that. So I said, no, you don't have to worry about the flushometers. But clearly that's a huge red flag for the building. And in my experience, what I failed at was I forgot that in the circumstance that they were talking about, which was a water shutdown and then restoring the service, I didn't experience that with flushometers. Mm-hmm. So I didn't know that would throw it out. But I answered too soon, and because I thought that I was, I kind of was under pressure. I felt nervous, anxious, and I didn't want to say I didn't know. So I just said, no, you don't have to. And
I see.
Yeah, so you just have to. But eventually, they picked me, because I guess I showed them the other qualities. Maybe that I was really interested in getting that job, that I would work hard for the building. So I think that kind of won them over. But in your case, in a case where you're asked a question, if you don't know it, don't answer it.
If you didn't know that you didn't know,
right?
I guess there's really nothing you can do about that. But even if you know that you don't know, just to look like you know everything.
I think all about life is figuring out what you don't know. Because if you don't know what you don't know, then you're never going to try to figure out how to answer that.
So just be honest. It's okay. It's okay.
That's a just stay on the safe side.
Yeah.
And but they are going to be asking you questions about technical skills that you have, and you want to be honest about that.
What are the common questions on technical skills?
Oh, they'll say, do you know how to do this? Do you know painting? Do you know plaster?
Oh.
Do you know how to repair, sometimes I even say, well, I have this problem. What would you do? And sometimes, sometimes those questions are not necessary. You don't, I mean, they're not important. You know, if they say, oh, do you know, how to change a, a wax seal that's inside the wall and not the floor, because sometimes you have a toilet that's against the wall, and they have these the water tanks are inside the wall, or you may have the wax seal inside the wall, and they'll say, do you know how to change that? And that really has nothing to do with how well, or very little to do with how well that person is going to take care of that building. It's not going to answer whether he's going to be there every day. It's not going to answer whether he's going to be good to the residents in the building, act professionally. It's not going to answer whether he'll be there in emergency at night when you need him. So that's not an important question, but you do get asked that question.
I see.
So you may want to just say, if you don't know, I've never done that before, but I can learn. Or you can say, what else can you say to that? If they say something that you may not have done before.
I guess that's the right way. I can't really think about. You can just say no. No, I really didn't get to experience that. Or,
right. I haven't experienced that. I haven't done that. Now, so questions. So once again, the questions that they'll be asking is whether are you going to be, how many times are you coming on a week? Will you be there whenever we call you? If they know that you're working someplace else, because it's a part-time position, they may say, well, how do I know if you're working at the other buildings and we need you, how are you going to come down and take care of this? And the key to that is don't overpromise. And they're looking for honesty. Just answer that, be honest with that question. Oh, I'm going to be there. What I say, tell our part-time supers is schedule for 3 times a week. The times that the sanitation needs you to be there, putting out garbage, make sure that you're there at the building for those things, and make sure that you're doing your cleaning. When you take a trip there, make sure that you cover everything that you have to do there during those times, because you want to minimize your travel time and get everything as much as you can get done while you're there for those garbage, taking care of the garbage. Now, if the customer asks you, well, will you be there for the other times that I need? You can always say, yeah, I can. We can work on that. Or you can always say, I'll get back to you, like we talked about before. I'll get back to you. Or you could say, what are the problems that, what do you want? So one of the things that I just want to say right now is I have a process. This is my secret process to how to answer all of the questions that a building customer may ask me, and how I respond to that. So how I prepare, so in other words, how I prepare for these meetings, these interviews, is I get ready to ask a few questions to the customer. And this helps me to get all the answers I need to make sure that the building is taken care of. Does that make sense?
For example, what kind of questions?
Okay, so what I ask in a case, when I go to a building, one of the things you could do is take control of the conversation. And taking control of the conversation just means that you're doing the person that's asking the questions. and in order to get the information that you need to help that customer. Because a lot of times the board, the customer, whether it's a board member or a building manager, they may not know what the problem is. So what I'll ask them is, what kind of problems are you experiencing? So what why did you, what are you looking for? Like, why did you, what are you, how do I say
Worried
this?
about?
What are you worried about? What are you concerned about? What kind of problems are you having at the building? And then they'll say it. They'll say, well, we don't have someone that's coming and taking care of the garbage correctly. We're always getting tickets. Or the building's not cleaned. You know, we're having problems with that. It's never clean and our residents are always complaining. Or they'll say, we can't reach our super. You know, that we try to call him and he never picks up, and we never know when he's going to be here. Or they'll say we never know when he's going to be at the building. So I'll ask, what are the problems that you're having? And then I'll ask, well, why do you think you're having those problems? And then they'll tell you, well, we don't, we don't trust the super, or the super's too busy. He's taking care of too many things. Or maybe they'll say we're not paying enough to the super.
I see.
And then and that always gives you an idea of what kind of problems they're having. You could also say, instead of what problems are you experiencing, what are you looking for? Because maybe they just maybe it's something that they can't figure out. Well, maybe it's a new building that never had a super before, a part-time super, and they're looking for someone now. So you just ask, well, what are you looking to cover? And they'll say, well, we want someone to take care of the trash and recycling. We want someone to take care of the outside vendors like exterminator if they come to the building, to open the door. We're looking for someone to take care of the boiler. So automatically you've taken control of the conversation by asking your customer to tell you what they're looking for. And then your answer can be around that. So you can say, okay, so you're looking for someone to take care of the garbage. I can do that by being here 3 times a week. Okay, you're looking for someone to take care of the boiler. What kind of boiler do you have? Let's go check out the boiler. What kind of maintenance is needed here? So those are the things that you can how you can answer those. If you go with the first way of saying what kind of problems are you experiencing, and they'll say we're always getting tickets, sanitation tickets for a dirty sidewalk. And if you are experienced with that, you can help them figure out the solution. If you're new to the building industry and this is your first building, just know that you're going to have to watch out for that. Right. If they hire you, focus on those things. Don't get a ticket. Figure out what you have to do to make sure that building is taken care of.
Right.
You're the problem solver. So when they tell you their problems, you have to have a solution for that.
Okay, so then I should kind of look at interviews in a different way. Of course, they were supposed to ask me questions about who I am, but maybe it's giving them a chance to talk about their problems and I'm the listener.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. That you're interviewing them.
Yeah, in a way. Oh.
So you're turning the tables on them and you're interviewing them. Yeah. And that's a great way to seize that meeting.
Yeah. And just by listening to them, I think you're being a great super and giving great first impression.
Yeah.
that you're open to hearing their voices,
Yeah.
and you want to fix, you want to know these problems. Yeah, that's actually a great way to turn this around.
And that's a great point, because also sometimes you have experienced building managers who are interviewing you that are looking for proactivity.
Right.
Proactivity means someone that does something without being asked.
Mhm.
They want, some managers need that. They
Right.
want that. They'll pay a premium for that. They'll pay you more if you know how to do that.
Right.
So that's a great way to seem like you're valuable, right?
Right.
If you're able to be proactive and you're able to pinpoint problems before they get bigger, there's no better way to show that in an interview than when you ask them questions.
Right.
And you're asking them, what bothers you? What problems have you had?
Yeah.
What are you looking for? Yeah, so I guess the secret sauce then is to interview them.
Yeah. But this doesn't mean when they ask you, do you know how to plaster? Do you know how to plaster? It's not like that.
Do you like the color white? And he's like, I asked you about plaster. Right.
Yeah.
It means that a lot of interviews about you answering the questions.
Mhm.
What's your name? John. Have you done this before? Yes. Do you know how to plaster? Yes. Will you be reliable? Yes. But that anyone can answer those questions, right? So anyone can come in and say yes or no, I can plaster, or this or that, right? Anyone can come in and say, I'll get back to you.
Right.
Anyone can come in and say, thank you for a great interview.
Mhm.
But not many people know how to come in and say, well, what are your problems?
Right.
Tell us about your issues. How can I make your life easier? What can I do to help you sleep at night?
Mhm.
You don't have to say it that way, but just remember that you're solving a problem here, and those problems sometimes keep people up at night.
Mhm.
So you're helping them improve their quality of life by solving that problem.
Right.
So I guess that's about it
Yeah.
in this case. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more out there, a lot more questions. I mean,
Mhm.
I usually write down. Oh, this is the other thing you should do. After a meeting or an interview, write down those questions.
Mhm.
Write down your answers.
Mhm.
Bring it home. Think about them. If you get the job, great. If you don't get the job, go back to those questions
Yeah.
and try to figure out where you could have been off, or what could have been the case, right?
Well, you could have done better.
Yeah, because as a part-time super, you're the entrepreneur. You're the person it's up to you, right? You're going out there looking for this extra business. It's up to you to figure out how to get these buildings, and it's up to you to figure out where you went wrong when you didn't get these buildings.
Yeah.
And so, it's not easy, but we talked about before that every time you get a no, it's one step closer to a yes.
Mhm.
So part of that process is going through those questions and saying, what could I have answered differently? And some of the questions that they may ask you is, have you been in this industry? Have you worked at the building before? Do you work at other places during the day? They may tell you some of the problems that the building is having to see what the answer to the question is. They may ask you what time you're going to be there, so that they can, or they'll tell you a schedule. They'll give you a list of tasks. They'll give you a list of tasks, and they'll say, this is what I want. When they do that, though, don't just take that and say you'll do it. Go through that task. Often they'll put everything in there. They'll be like, you gotta, it'll be a task that has everything about the building written down.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not your job to say yes. It's your job to look through that and see what you can do
Mm-hmm.
and what you can fulfill for them.
Mm-hmm.
So when they have a list and they give it to you and they say, this is what I want with the building. I want the garbage taken care of. I want this. I want that. Often when I get that list, it's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And it's way too much. And I look at that, I'm like, you're looking for a live-in super,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I often say, well, let me take a look at this. Let me see what I can do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me see what we can do. And just, it's all about clear expectations in the beginning.
Right.
So, so I think that's it.
Okay, so to have a quick summary, first, look nice. No.
Presentable, yeah.
Presentable.
Which
and-
means,
It's business casual, polo
Okay,
shirt.
gotcha.
Just like anything that you would wear to a church,
okay,
that would be good. And second, what was second?
speak properly.
Spot.
Don't speak like you're talking to a friend. I've
Right.
seen that before. Never do that.
Yeah.
Be as professional as possible.
Yeah.
That's almost the first way to knock yourself out of the game.
Right. Speak professionally in a proper way.
Proper way. Never. In fact, don't ever drop that.
Mm-hmm. Keep it consistent throughout. And number three.
Number three is make sure that when you answer the questions, you answer honestly. If you don't know it, say you don't know. Remember that they're looking for
Honesty.
whether you're honest,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're reliable, whether your cost. I mean,
Mhm.
they're kind of looking for that as well. But the other things that they're looking for is, I'm sorry, I'm just going to add in there, because we talked about this, attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you have a great attitude, that really can drive the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know anything that they want you to know, but you do have to drive and you have the great attitude, which is keep positive, right? Which is if you don't, you're being honest, you're keeping positive, you're telling them what you can do, then that's going to beat out a lot of the negative feelings that they may have about you if they don't think that you're experienced.
Right. Number 4 was they might ask you technical questions, right?
They might ask you technical questions.
Okay. Number 5 was actually ask them what the problems are, what troubles they're having inside the building.
Right.
And so take it as a chance to listen to the customer. And number 6, was that number 5? No, number 6 would be after the interview, come home and review the questions.
Right.
And lastly,
I forgot one thing. Write things down when you're there.
oh,
Nothing makes you look more professional than writing things down.
okay,
Bring a notepad. Don't just go there and just stand there and just say yes to everything and then pretend that you have this photographic memory.
right.
Even if you do have a photographic memory or you have a great memory, just write things down
Okay.
in front of them.
And then what number is this? Number 7?
I can figure it out.
Yeah, and the last thing,
Is after it, just follow up and call them and see how you've done.
we never talked about
We're adding that in now. We're adding that in now.
follow. If you don't get an answer, you can follow up, right?
Yeah.
And then,
Well, I would say even call back and say thank you.
okay.
Yeah. That's it. I think that we covered everything.
Well, you did talk about the list, task list.
Okay. So the last one is the task list. If you get a task list, then take it with you and let them know that you review it and that you get back to them.
Mm.
Don't
And if you get it in advance, go through them.
ask for it in advance. That's a great point. Excellent point. Get it. If they have a task list before you get there. And once you have that task list, you try to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what you can do and what you can't do, so
Right.
that you're ready to answer as much as they can. The key is, I mean, I think that the aim should be prepared so that as much as you can, so that you can answer as many of the questions honestly as possible. But your fallback, in case you aren't prepared or you're thrown off in a surprise, is just to say you'll get back to them later.
Yeah. So I think that's it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Jennifer. I appreciate it. We managed to hopefully get some good supers through their interviews coming up.
Yeah, little helpful tips.
Just tips.